employers, watch out or maybe celebrate. I don't know. Generation Z is heading your way. The first of the 60 million people born after the year 2000 who are starting to hit the workforce now. According to a Monster.com survey, 76% of this generation see themselves in the driver's seat of their own careers compared to those millennials and Gen Xers and boomers. They were also much more willing to move for work and more likely to believe a job should have a greater purpose than money. Yeah, that thing's gone out the window. Young people often find navigating their first job a challenge. Meredith Whipple Callahan looked at some of the common mistakes people make and how to avoid them in her book, Indispensable, How to Succeed at Your First Job and Beyond. She joins me now. You know, I had that anecdote about my first job as a local TV reporter, cows stuck and high tide. And the moral for me on that was be willing to do anything, right? And while you're willing to do anything, you know, you brought up that word, humility. Show a little humility.
Yeah. So when you're starting your first job, I think it's important to keep those really high expectations of what you want, at the same time adopting just a deep sense of humility, of understanding that you don't know anything. There's lots you don't know about the company. There's lots you don't know about the industry. There are things that you just don't know about how work is done. And so actually entering the workforce with a sense of humility and asking lots of curious questions to learn quickly, rather than assuming that anything that you know applies, is the place to start.
One thing I was interested in what you said, which I think many people can apply to their own careers no matter where they are, is drive your own career development from the start. How do you do that?
Well, you start by having a sense of where you want to go. You know, start by actually articulating your goals and sharing with them with the people around you. And then after that, it's really a matter of driving to get the feedback that you need. So running down the feedback, not just on the 6 or 12-month cycle that it's given to you by your company, but after you do anything that's new, anything that's pushing your boundaries, anything that you're really learning from, asking the people around you, not just your manager, but everyone else, for feedback on how you did.
You know, I give this generation a lot of credit for just being incredibly smart and adaptive. But what, you know, that whole issue about humility comes into play because they seem to do everything by their own terms, on their own terms. What would you say distinguishes this generation in the workplace from others?
I think it's a sense of passion and a sense of identity, really knowing what they want and having a sense of wanting to align work to that broader purpose and passion in their life. That can be challenging because obviously the fit between your first job in particular and your overall sense of what you want in life probably won't be great. It's something that you iterate on and get closer and closer to over time. So I think that's where the humility comes back in, is having a sense that maybe this job won't be perfect, but you're going to learn a lot from it, and you'll learn more as you move into your next job. And then over time, you'll come to really converge the things that you want in your life and the things that you end up getting in your work.
And in terms of top tips really for this generation as they go in, what would you say to them?
I'd say the first thing to do as you walk in the door is really think about how you show up and look prepared. You should show up on time. You should, which seems logical. You should bring what you need for the job. And moreover, as people are giving you direction or guidance, take notes. Actually show that you care about what they're saying and that you're going to do everything that you can to do a good job.
There's this issue of be proactive about getting feedback. It's a tough thing to do because some people don't really want to engage on being criticized about anything. And yet, is it worse for this generation than for others?
I don't notice that it's worse for this generation than for others. I think humans in general have a deep sense of kind of defensiveness when they get feedback. But getting over that defensiveness and understanding that everyone's feedback, everyone's perspective is useful is something that we can all do regardless of generation.
These people should start practicing with their parents, not be so defensive. That'd be good practice. And again, getting to advice for the managers who employ these very bright people. You know, I don't have a lot of time left, but quickly, what would you say is the piece of advice who, you know, people who want to keep these young stars on their staff?
I think it's understanding what they want and understanding where they're coming from, while at the same time delivering them the advice and wisdom that you have. So trying to really converge a sense of what they're looking for, what they're interested in, the things that they find developmental, and also the things that you know that you need from a manager perspective and from a business perspective.
Yeah, and always take pity on them. The first job is so tough, isn't it? Meredith, thanks so much. Really appreciate you coming in.